take a deeper look into the lives of students at Montgomery College. I'm your host, Nerissa, and with me today, Angelo. It's a pleasure to meet you, Angelo.
It's nice to meet you too, Nerissa.
Awesome. So you were telling me about another school you attended before MC.
Yeah, before I went to MC, I went to Salisbury University.
Wow.
That was my first university experience.
Do you have any interesting stories about Salisbury?
Well, actually, I have an interesting story about the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Anderson, my roommate.
Wow.
Yeah, my first roommate, actually, I had two, but the second one is not mentionable.
Yeah.
My first roommate, Paul Anderson, is the one that we're really going to focus on today.
Was he assigned roommate? How did you choose him, and how did that work?
Well, I took this weird little test thing before I got into Salisbury, and it was like a roommate test. It was only like 10 questions. I don't know how they determined what kind of person I am through 10 questions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, apparently I got matched up with him. But when I saw him on Facebook, I had added him on Facebook as soon as I found out that he was my roommate. I added him on Facebook, and it was scary at first sight because he was 6 foot something and 300 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So what made him, I guess, scary besides the fact of his appearance?
Well, the fact that he had every single picture that he was tagged in was a really, really bad picture from his senior week. And apparently, I didn't find this out until later on. His friends like taking really, really bad pictures of him, like when he's completely off guard. So there's lots of him just sweating, being shirtless, wearing very trashy hats. And it was just, it looked like he wasn't the type of person that I would really mesh with. Because I'm a very neat and clean and like tidy person, and he looked kind of like a big slob. So
after you guys you move into your room, you meet. So what happens after that?
Well, first I looked up because he's huge, and I said, "You Paul?" He's like, "Yep." He's like, "You Angelo?" I'm like, "Yep." And that's pretty much like the guy's initiation of like friendship.
Yeah.
Like,
hi, how are you? Yeah.
No, like hi, how are you? It's like sup. That was it, and then it was love at first sight. We basically we're inseparable the first couple of days, which like the orientation days for Salisbury, and I found out that he was a lot cooler than I had given him his Facebook profile credit for.
So did you guys end up having anything in common?
We listened to really, really ghetto rap music.
Really?
And we would just like jam out to really, really ghetto rap music in our dorm. Also, like the first like really common thing that we had was we were both on Twitter, and he's like, finally someone on this school that has Twitter, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever, because at the time I was a Twitter fiend, and pretty much like my entire first couple of days of college were documented on Twitter. So having him follow me on Twitter and me follow him on Twitter kind of like increased the bond between us, you know?
Yeah. Yes. So did you guys get into any shenanigans while in college?
Oh my God, there was a lot of shenanigans. We drove around looking for parties because we were desperate after like the first weekend actually.
Yeah.
To find parties, and he just drove us around, and it was terrible. And we found no parties, and it was pouring rain. And I asked for a guy named YOLO, and that guy did not show up. And
YOLO?
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of shenanigans you get into when you have a guy as awesome as Paul Anderson around you.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for joining me on the show. That sounds like a really interesting story. I'm glad you guys had a lot of fun together on your years in Salisbury. And that's all the time we have for today. Join us next time on MC Profiles when we interview another guest. Really?